Sanibonani guys, welcome back to yet another video, and we are speaking about the latest episode of the Bala family. So guys, when this episode opens up, it opens up with Ingi and Upelo, and they are having a conversation about moving back home. So we all know Upelo already had a conversation with his mother concerning moving back home, and listen, I always said, but Andy VCC guys, like I don't understand Pelo's reasoning for like, not that I don't understand his reasoning for coming back home. I'm just not convinced that he's coming back for the right reasons. I don't know, there's just something in me that just kind of unsettles me. And I feel like Upelo's using the opportunity that his mother, he needs to be close to his mother. He's using that opportunity to also kind of cater for the fact that he was already going through problems in Joburg, which was the alcoholic problem. I just don't know if the environment he's putting himself in, if he's strong enough for that. Another thing I want to say about Upelo keeps talking about being there for Umama V, but I'm asking myself, does Upelo also recognize that there's also a form of grieving that he needs to go through, that he needs to heal from? Because I feel like, yes, it's good to put Umama V in front because she's the one who's feeling the most pain. But on the day of the funeral, the way Upelo cried, you guys, it made me realize that Upelo is actually going through something that he's trying to like sweep underneath the carpet. He said it himself that when he lost Utatu Chafta, it felt like he lost a parent. So I feel like Upelo needs to give himself a time and acknowledge Uba. He's also hurt and he's also going through a grieving stage, and allow himself to go through that grieving stage, because I feel like that thing is going to catch up with him if he's just focusing on Umama V, that Umama V is the one who only needs the attention. I feel like that thing is going to catch up with him. So I am really concerned about Upelo. There's just something that's just making me feel so unsettled. Even when I'm listening to his reasoning, I'm hearing it, but I'm not hearing it at the same time. And then we find out on this episode, guys, that Upinki also decided to move back home. And Upinki and Upelo's reasons, listen, guys, they are similar. It's just different a little bit. Upinki, she is unemployed. She does gigs, or does projects rather. And the projects, when you are self-employed, guys, Utama projects are not consistent. So she's got parent to pay. She's got a kid. And she decided with Tivele she needs to be close to her mother, and she might as well take the opportunity with both hands, since anyway she's the thing of having money for rent is a problematic one. So I guess their reasonings are the same in a way, because in as much as they're there to support their mother, they're also going to be benefiting from it as well, because they're going to be staying at home where they're not going to be liable for rent. So I like the conversation that Upinki was having though, guys. And I think in South Africa, this is such a crucial and an important conversation to have about moving home. Pinky was saying something about her being the oldest and her moving back home at her age. And she said something about the fact that she's moving, back home doesn't mean ba uwile. So it means that the fact that she's moving back home, it doesn't mean someone doesn't have a future and that their life is doomed. And I think we need to normalize that, guys, especially if you have a home. Some people, yes, they don't have the privilege of saying, you know what, I can go back home and, try again, or plan from point zero. Some people really don't have that privilege. So if you do have the privilege of going back home, guys, don't struggle. Like, I also don't see, like, why should you be struggling struggling with rent, struggling with like getting yourself stressed, whereas you've got the privilege of going back home. Yes, going back home for the most of us, it means that now you kind of have to be a child. I was loudly, you don't do things as you please most of the times because you're underneath someone's roof. But all I'm saying is that we need to normalize that. But when a person goes home, it's not, some people, guys, they don't even want to go home because they're afraid that they're going to be viewed as failures. So I think as children, we need to normalize going back home and telling our parents when things are not fine. But even as abazali, we need to normalize creating an environment for children to come back home and start from scratch. So I love that conversation. I feel like it is so building to the youth of South Africa that, you know what, there's no shame. Not only the youth, but also the elder generation who are watching, that to be welcoming of abantwana to come back home and to create that space for us to feel welcomed, even though izinto didn't go well eGoli or wherever we were. So Yao Pink is moving back home, and I mentioned ukuthi I'm worried about Upelo and what's going on with him, and he's grieving and all of that. And then we see Upinke, guys, trying to bring up a conversation with her mother about her mother leaving and abandoning them as her children at a very young age. Listen, when I saw that, I just felt like the timing of this, Pinky, and the way Umama V is commenting about it in her diary sessions, it looks like she knows what Upinki is talking about. It looks like Upinki has brought up this conversation before. But I just felt like the timing, ma'am. I don't know now, guys, but when they shot this show, how far along or how far away was it from the actual funeral? Because to us, it seems like it's last week, but sometimes it's a month away or something like that. But I just feel like the timing of it, Mama V said she's sensitive. She's, obviously still grieving her late husband. And I just feel like now is not the time to be addressing such thing, Pinky, and I know it's an important conversation to have, but I just felt like not now while Umama's still trying to grieve her husband. But I don't want to invalidate anything that Upinki says, guys, because that's her true, honest feelings, that she had to step up and play a mother at a very young age. And you know what's the things that majority of firstborns can relate to what Upink is saying, the sacrifices that they had to make for their siblings because their mothers weren't around. Some of them, it's not even that their mother was like in a different province. It is that their mothers were staying with them, or their mothers were staying in my kitchen, or their mothers were working such long hours that by the time the mothers came home, they had to play a deputy parent. So I really sympathize with what Upinki is saying. But what I noticed about Umama V, it doesn't look like Umama V. Whatever Pinky is saying, it's registering in her head. Because when I listened to her comments in her diary session, she kept on saying, having a child like Pinky who complains about everything, like she'll find something wrong in everything that you do. She'll never see something good in what she's doing. I just need Umama V to just listen to Upinki, open up her heart and listen to Upinki for a change. Because this thing of her saying, hey, we didn't backchat our parents. If you ever said something like that, your parents would slap you and all of that. Times have changed. And I need Umama V to actually accept that, yes, in Cape Town, she went there for whatever reason because she says her marriage was too much. It was a toxic environment. But I need her to actually acknowledge that at the end of the day, she did abandon her children. It might have not been her intention or something she really wanted to do, but she did abandon her children, and her decision did affect Upinki and the rest of her children. So I need her to acknowledge that, and not only acknowledge it, but to apologize first and foremost to Upinki, guys. I mean, Upinki at this age, if she's still talking about all of these things, I feel like Upinki has a lot of healing to do. And you know the way I see things, when I had this conversation, I kind of had insight and understood why Upinki treats her mother the way she treats her mother. I have a feeling, guys, or what I'm getting is that I feel like Upinki feels like her mother has an irresponsible side to her, that her mother makes decisions that are how can I say it? Her mother makes decisions that are one-sided. Her mother makes decisions that only benefit her, and she doesn't look at the full picture. Because when Upinki is speaking like that, I feel like Pinky feels like her mother put herself first above her children. Because even though her mother was not okay mentally, who is she leaving the kids for? Then it comes back to this whole thing atatu chafta, even the way the mother got married. So do you understand? But now I'm starting to get about Upinki where she coming from. Then it comes to the way her mother got married secretly. So I feel like Upinki, when she questions all of these things that her mother does, I feel like she low-key feels that her mother doesn't know how to make responsible decisions. Because even at that big age, that is a big decision to go and get married, guys, and not tell your parents, and not tell your children. Yes, I mean they are at their big age, but I now see the linkage of why Upinki constantly questions the decisions that her mother makes. And it's almost as if Upinki wants to step in and play a role of wanting to make better decisions for her mother, because she feels like her mother makes decisions that will end up affecting all of them. So I don't know if Upinki realizes Uguti, like she also, there's a part of her that needs healing and she needs to deal with stuff, because I feel like there's a lot of things that are within Upinki that low key she's angry at her mother for. She tries to be respectful, you guys. But I feel like there's so many things she wants to talk about. But Umama V, the type of person she is, I get it when Upinki is saying that, like, yeah, Kunjwa, like people get angry when these conversations are had. I just feel like the setup, I don't know what type of setup Uping is gonna need in order for her mother to actually listen and receive anything she's saying. I don't even know if that's even possible. So Pinky needs to just get help. Mama V needs to acknowledge that she hurts Upiki and her children, and she needs to apologize to all of them. Now, guys, they speak about the issue of actually buying a house. Who brings up this issue? Upinki and Uzwaim. They want to buy a house for Umama V. And I think what I'm saying, it comes back to what I was saying, guys. That, listen, when they talking about this house thing, to me, it sounds like Upinki and Uzwai are assuming for Umama V that Umama V like wants a house and whatnot and all of that. I get Zwai's point, because Uzwai was basically saying there's nothing nice Elukshin, guys. Majority of the people, if they had an opportunity to move out Elukshini, they would. So that's the reason why they want to take their mother outside of Ilokshin. But I'm like, I don't recall a time where they actually asked their mother, what does she want? Yes, guys, most of our parents, they would not say no to you buying their children buying a house for them. But it comes back to that thing of me saying that maybe Upinki feels like she needs to make better decisions for her mother, because her mother doesn't make that small that she doesn't make smart decisions. Because even this conversation, it sounded like they were assuming and making decisions for Umama V. And I get Umama V to a certain extent, guys. At the end of the day, Umama V is married Kwachafta. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that her and Uba Utatu Chafta spoke about that they know nothing about. Even Umama V said in her diary session, she says that there's a lot of things she has her own plans that she is not discussing. So she's sitting there listening to her children plan whatever they plan, but she's got her own plans that she discussed with her late husband, and she's going to do according to that. But because they're not asking for input by mama, it means, or what do you say? She's just keeping quiet there. Now the issue is, guys, they want to buy a house for Mama V. The house that Upinki spoke about, where she saw a house, is 2.6 million, guys. And I get Upelo's point. None of them have houses, guys. Upelo doesn't have a house. Pinky doesn't have a house, including Uloiso doesn't have a house. And yet they are willing to pay like a 2.6 house for their mother. I mean, in the black culture, it's a good thing. But what I'm saying is, some things, guys, like, I don't know. I don't even get what's the point of them even wanting to sell that house. I don't get it, guys. Maybe you guys can explain it to me, or maybe it goes back to Uzwai's point of, into yaselokshini. And I guess Uzwai wants to vuselela his family's home, so he wants to sell the house, the family house, and I guess with that family house he wants to buy then another house where he's going to be able to vuselela his father's household, which I don't get about Mama V ungena phi lapho, because remember Mama V is technically divorced kwapala. And then when the people who are leading this conversation, mind you guys, it is Uzwai and Upinki, and those are the two people who don't have a pay slip. So obviously maybe Teta Ranjalo, when they're speaking like that, everything is falling on who? Everything is falling on Uloyiso. And listen, I'm just gonna be quite honest, guys. I feel like it's very selfish of them to push such an agenda. I absolutely 100% agree with Uloyiso, and I get his concerns, guys. The thing is that they want this 2.6 million. If they get that 2.6 million, that debt, guys, is going to sit on Uloyiso's name alone, because the rest, they don't have good credit scores. It's going to sit on Uloyiso's name alone. So though they can say, yes, it's a family thing, everyone's liable to pay it. If, let's just say, Upelo decides, bye, nah, I'm going to drink all of my money, or decides I've got other commitments, I'm not paying that. That's his decision, guys. But Uloyiso himself, because it's his credit score, he's going to be liable to pay that money. Mind you, even if when it comes to a bond, they're going to debit it as a debit order. So obviously, if he's approved, they have looked at his affordability. Uloyiso wouldn't have the option of saying, okay, no, I'm not paying this month because I've got commitments and all of that. Everyone else will be at liability or liberty. They are free to do something like that, even though they're saying they won't, but they could possibly do that. And Uloyiso will be the one sitting with that debt. Guys, how many families do we know have been broken up because of into yemali, or into of you taking up a loan for someone, and then chigu umdu puts their stuff first, they don't pay the loan, and because it's underneath your name, you know you need to pay that loan because it's going to be a bad thing for your name. So I get Uloyiso's concern, you guys, and I feel like Zwei was kind of saying Uloyiso's making it a big deal because he wants it to be a big deal. It is a big deal, guys. Uloyiso has a wife, he has 3 kids, and he's right by saying money, guys, can even break up a marriage. And he is very in a difficult position, because I feel like he was right. Whichever decision he gets to make, they could either say Baulo Yele, hey, it was his wife, it was his what. But at this point, I know for some people, guys, they might side with Upinki and Uloyiso, because at the end of the day they'll be like, no, it's a family thing. Don't but yes, everything we take a risk, but in life it's important for you to take a calculated risk. So you should go and speak with Mel, but he needs to have a backbone and stand for what he believes is going to work for them. I know this is going to be such a difficult one for Loiso, and I feel sorry for him, but the people who are the loudest here, which is Upinki, she doesn't have a payslip. I don't even understand how did she skip and think of a 2.6 million house. Uzwai himself, at least Uzwai, I don't know, maybe he has some sort of personal, because he says he's got experience. He's bought a house in a group type of setup before, but with family, guys, hey, I don't know. And I get it for Uloyiso. I get to with how if he says no, it's going to look like Usis Kohlagali, as if he's evil. And if he says yes, like, do you understand about what a big thing that is? Because he said the next year they were planning to buy a house. So which means, yeah, na plans must be put on hold so that he can, do you understand what I'm saying? So they need to sit down with Mama V and Oscar ba Mama Welu Funani. And I appreciated when Upelo did that the next day and asked his mother, what do you want? Because they never asked her anything like that. And I feel like they are going to be disappointed when they push whatever they want and want Mama V to respond and be receptive in a certain way, whereas Mama V une plan zake. I feel like they're going to be disappointed. But anyway, guys, that was today's episode. You're so much beautiful insights, guys. That's why a lot of people have been saying this is the realist a reality show in South Africa. The point that we even discussed, you see, this loan debt thing here in South Africa, it's a big thing, you guys. I'm sure we all know of someone who has been in a position who has taken up a loan for a family, and today no one is paying it. Today, abantu bathule, you can't cut off your whole family, or some people have cut off their whole family, or maybe that's even you, and you know the pain of feeling like your family doesn't think for you, but they always want to push their own narratives just because when are you the one who's better financially equipped, as if you don't have your plans out. Anyway, guys, tell me, what did you think of this episode? Please do make sure you like the video. Please do subscribe. It is absolutely for free of charge, and I'll see you guys on the next one.